Hey everybody, so we're going to be working on parallel and perpendicular lines today. So there's some warm-up stuff here and here. So would you please pause the video if you have not already done the warm-up up to this point and do the warm-up up to this point. So press pause and do the warm-up. All right, so let's look at these. So y equals 2x plus 1 would hit at 1. And then go up to, down to, and it would look something like this. And 2x minus 2, let's copy that and paste, would look like this. Actually, we can reset it so it's about there. Paste, 2x minus 5 would have the same slope but go through -5. And then the last one, I should have looked, is 2x plus 7, which goes through 7. So what do you notice about all these? Well, if we look at the graphs, hopefully you notice that they are parallel. And if you notice all the equations, all of them have the same slope. So this is an important idea. Parallel lines have the same slope. So if I said, hey, come up with a fifth line that would be parallel to these, you might say y equals 2x minus 10. So if you want to find anything about parallel lines, we want the same slope. Now, how about this one? Well, the first one there would go through 4, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 2. I'm going to look something like that, and I'm going to color them. So the next one hits at -6 with a slope of 2/5. 2/5, and would look something like that. So those are definitely not parallel, we can see there. And there's a new word we're going to talk about, perpendicular. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect and form a 90-degree angle. This angle here is not 90 degrees. So these two are not perpendicular. Let's try the next one. Oop, already used purple. Let's try blue. So if I graph -6 and then down to right 5, down to right 5, up to left 5, up to left 5, if I connect those, have we found perpendicular lines yet? Well, the red and the blue one, that does not look like a 90-degree angle to me, but the purple one and the blue one, I would say, are perpendicular. They make a right angle. So that would be y equals 5/2 x plus 4, and y equals, it was -2/5 x minus 6. Those were perpendicular. Let's add our fourth line on there, 5/2 x plus 4. So 5/2 x plus 4. So 5/2 would go, wait. Oh, darn it. This was supposed to be negative 5/2. So let's make that negative. If you've already graphed it, let's modify that one. -5/2 x plus 4. So that's 4, and then -5/2 is down 5, right 2, down 5, right 2, and it would look like this. So did we find another pair of perpendicular lines? Yeah, right there. So that means y equals 2/5 x minus 6, and y equals -5/2 x plus 4. These make a perpendicular pair. So do you notice anything about their slope? Well, how does how would we turn 5/2 into -2/5? How would we turn 2/5 into -5/2? We have to do two things with it. We have to flip it over, and we have to make it negative of itself. So let's summarize that. Parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have what we call opposite reciprocal slopes. Meaning, if I had a slope of 3, the slope of the perpendicular line would be -1/3. If I had a slope of 2/5, the slope of the perpendicular would be -5/2. All right, so I'm going to cut the video there, and then I'll load up another video for the rest of it. All right, so now we're just going to practice a bunch. But again, the whole idea is parallel lines have the same slopes as each other, and perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes as each other. So our job is to write the equation of a line that is parallel to this line and goes through the point 2, 6. So I'm going to end up with the point 2, 6, and because I know about parallel, I'm going to end up with a slope. So whatever the slope of the line I'm looking for is the same as the slope of the line over here. So what's the slope of this line? Well, this goes up 3, it goes down 3, down 3, down 3, and this goes up 2, up 2, up 2. So the slope of this line would be -3/2. Since we're looking for a parallel line, if the slope of this one, that's a bad example. If the slope of this one is -3/2, the slope of whatever line I'm looking for would also be -3/2. Well, once I have a point and a slope, I write the equation. Y minus 6 equals -3/2 x minus 2. And that would be our answer. This line would then be parallel to the line that's on this table, but go through the point 2, 6. Let's try the next one. Write the equation of the line perpendicular to this line and goes through this point. So I already know that I have the point -1, 2. The slope of this line is 3. But I don't want the slope of this line. I want the slope of the line perpendicular to it. Well, if I reference back up here, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So 3 turns into -1/3. So now I write an equation with this slope through that point. Y minus 2 equals -1/3 times x plus 1. Let's try the next one. Write an equation line parallel to x equals -2. Well, x equals -2 would be a vertical line, right? X equals 2, x equals 2, x equals, -2, -2, -2, -2, except I want the line to go through -3, 8. Well, if it's parallel, it also has to be a vertical line. which if this line is x equals -2, this line must be x equals -3. All right, I'm going to cut the video there, and then I'm going to try the next one. Would you please take 30 seconds and try this problem before you press play again? All right, so given line A and line B are perpendicular, so these are perpendicular to each other, fill in the missing values of table B, show work, or explain or justify. All right, so the fact that we know they're perpendicular means their slopes must be opposite reciprocal. So whatever the slope of the first one is, some number over some number, the slope of the other one is negative, and then whatever happened to y in the first table is going to happen to x in the other table. And whatever happened to x in the one table is going to happen to y in the other table, except we got to make sure we have that negative in the middle there. So let's take a look. So here we're adding 5. Here we added 10. Here we added 15. Here we added 2. Here we added 4. And here we added 6, which means the slope of this line is change in y over change in x. So the slope of this line must be negative change in this one's x over change in y. So let's see here. Here we go up 5, which means here we must go down 2. So that's got to be a 6. Now this other one's a little bit different. Here we went down 4, which means we must have done this twice. We went down 2, down 2, down 2, down 2. So this must have been up by 10. Well, what must we have come from to go up 10? Got to be at -10. All right, so that is the end of the notes for today. One more time. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. At this point, download the homework for tonight, homework 2, and work on it. You can talk in your groups. Have a nice weekend.